exchanging fire in a widening war. Missiles light up the night sky as Israel and the US intensify their assault on Iran.
Our forces are now striking in the heart of Tehran with increasing intensity, which will grow even stronger in the coming days.
Newly released video from the Israeli military shows the moment the headquarters of Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard was destroyed, another blow to the regime following the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As the US presses its assault, video capturing the moment a fighter jet spirals to the ground over Kuwait. After a second night of strikes, the US and Israel say they hit more than 2,000 targets. A hospital was hit, as well as the offices of the Iranian state broadcaster.
I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death.
Israel has also started attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon after the militant group entered the fray, firing rockets and drones across the border. Residents fleeing into the streets, strewn with rubble and debris. As Iran and its proxies come under fire, the regime is lashing out in retaliation, hitting countries across the region. With luxury hotels and apartments coming under fire in Dubai.
No joking, guys, we have just been hit by a drone.
Travellers are stuck in other cities due to airspace closures. At least 9 were killed in an Iranian strike in the Israeli city of Beit Shemesh, and in occupied East Jerusalem, a missile hit a highway. Drone vision has revealed the extensive damage caused to a residential area in Tel Aviv on Saturday night, where one woman was killed. Shay Sagi wasn't at home at the time of the attack, seeing the destruction wrought by the shockwave, which destroyed the neighbouring building.
I'm shocked. I didn't imagine even how much damage. It's our house. We moved here 2 months ago, after a long time of searching for a perfect apartment.
We are also bringing into this campaign the United States. This combination of forces enables us to do what I have long hoped to do for 40 years, to strike the terror regime decisively.
The Australian government supports that objective despite protests from the United Nations, which says the joint US and Israeli action has violated international law.
While Australia is not directly involved in current military strikes, we've been clear of our utter rejection of the brutal Iranian regime. We are concerned about regional escalation and the protection of civilians.
Ultimately, the legality of these measures is a matter for both the United States and Israel to go through.
Donald Trump says the newly appointed Iranian leadership has already made contact, claiming they want to talk. But just hours later, that insistence was rejected by a senior regime official, flatly stating we will not negotiate with the United States. A deepening conflict with no end in sight. There is a significant amount of damage here in Beit Shemesh from this Iranian missile which hit yesterday. You can see this building has been totally destroyed. This is in the middle of a residential area in Beit Shemesh. It goes to show that while Israelis are being told every time these Iranian missile barrages are coming in that they need to seek shelter, if there is going to be a direct hit, people stand very little chance. And that is why we've seen at least 9 people killed at this site, more than 40 injured. What we will need to watch out for in the coming hours is whether or not any more Iranian proxies join this conflict. Overnight, Hezbollah started firing rockets at Israel. It was met with a ferocious response there. Whether or not the Houthis join in, they have signalled an intention to do so, remains to be seen. We are also seeing reports as we go to air tonight that oil refineries in Saudi Arabia have been hit by drones. If that is the case, and that drags Saudi Arabia into this conflict, that is going to be a dramatic escalation.
The US war machine striking Iran's ballistic missile facilities.
We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems.
But Tehran is striking back, killing 3 US troops.
But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization.
They're the first American deaths in a major offensive that President Trump says could lead to more losses.
He owes it to not only the families of those 3 deceased service members, he needs to make the case when you start a war of choice why it was so critical.
Britain, France and Germany say they're ready to help stop Iran's attacks. Prime Minister Keir Starmer allowing the US to use British bases for defensive strikes.
We have taken the decision to accept this request to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, killing innocent civilians.
The killing of the Supreme Leader has further stoked anti-US sentiment, chants of death to America in Iran. And in neighbouring Pakistan, regime supporters attempted to storm the US consulate. At least 22 people were killed in clashes with security forces in Karachi and subsequent conflicts in the country's north. Even some of Trump's own supporters are criticising his so-called Operation Epic Fury.
I don't think this was in America's interest. It's going to uncork a significant can of worms and chaos and destruction.
The United States is far from unified on this issue. One poll showed only 1 in 4 Americans supported strikes against Iran. For Donald Trump, who once promised his America would stop toppling foreign regimes, his decision to strike could be one of the biggest political risks of his presidency.
President Trump!
He does have the support of much of the Iranian diaspora.
USA is the hero of the history!
Hoping for an end to Iran's authoritarian regime. Kamin Gock, ABC News, Washington.
The Iranian regime is facing the biggest threat to its existence since it took power in the 1979 Islamic Revolution. And after decades of mostly Cold War with the US and hot conflicts with Israel, Iran is now facing their combined and overwhelming military force. Iran can't possibly win, but the regime's fighting for survival, and that's how it's responding. With far more aggressive tactics. Whether by design or not, those tactics have the potential to put pressure on Donald Trump to wind up this new and unpopular war. This time, Iran is hitting US military bases and civilian targets in neighbouring countries. It's closing down oil shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and it's even drawn in the UK, France and Germany. The world, and especially American allies, are feeling the impact of a war they knew nothing about and didn't want, while Americans, who were already unhappy about it, are now seeing US soldiers once again die in a foreign war. The US and Israel are relying on the Iranian people to overthrow their government, but right now there's no sign of that happening. Victory for the Iranian regime might simply mean clinging to power until the shooting stops.